Welcome to our monthly Community Safety and Security Forum here on the Serenity Resource Connector. And we are talking about collaboration this month. It's community policing at its best. So we are looking at how the collaboration between police, schools, youth clubs, and other organizations in the space are working together to empower communities, and of course, the strategies that they're using to build safer communities. All right, so if you're passionate about community safety and security, you are in the right place. I am Winsome Sharia Witter, your host for this program, and it's always a pleasure to guide these discussions, to highlight the good things that are happening. JCF, their tagline is that they're a force for good. And so what Serenity Resource Connector does is to look for the good things that are happening in the JCF and the other partners that we collaborate with to highlight in this space, to show how it is that we can work together as community to make this space better. So let's dive right in. We have the largest panel I think we've had in this space since the inception of the program. And so let's start by bringing them on. All right, first to the stage is Constable Dakota Dwyer. She is the supervisor for the police youth clubs over there in St. Elizabeth Division. And St. Elizabeth is always in this space. So we keep it interactive here, so you can go ahead and share your comments, ask your questions if you have questions while the discussion progresses. And Ava is here. Ava, welcome. It's been a while. It's always great to have you over there in Longville Park. Fantastic. And we are going to be looking at the officers for this first segment. So joining us is also Inspector Suzette Ritchie Bernard. She is the acting territorial officer for the Manchester Police Division. There's so many titles. I have to make sure that I get them right. And we're going to have joining us Sergeant Leroy Chambers, sub-officer in charge of CSSB Clarendon Police Division. All right, that's what you'll see of Sergeant Chambers for this segment, but you'll be able to hear his voice. Welcome, officers. Let's get right into it. Because from where I'm sitting, I've been engaging with we started in Clarendon Division, and now we're covering Area 3 in terms of the highlights each month. And what I am seeing, and I'm sure the viewers who have been journeying with us have been seeing, is improvement in terms of community policing and how it is that you engage in this space. So a lot of transformation is taking place, but from where you sit in terms of how have you seen the relationship between police and community organization in your division evolve over the past, let me put it, 1 year? Over the past year, I hope you've been in your space for at least a year. And what would you say are the key factors, one or two factors driving this shift? I'm seeing it here. Constable Dwyer, let's start in the south. So unmute and share.
All right, good night, everyone. Right, I'm Constable Dakota Dwyer, as you were told, and I work at the St. Elizabeth Community Safety and Security Branch. All right, the importance of collaboration. The St. Elizabeth CSSB has
Before you reach to the importance, let's highlight some of the key factors that you believe is driving the shift in terms of the relationship between community and police.
Right. Well, some of the key factors would be the presence of the presence of the police at the community level, where we go in and we interact. We have special programs where we go in. For instance, we have cricket teams and football teams that we go into the communities and play against community sides. And we have like police youth clubs where we have our weekly meetings, and we sit and we talk to the young people, and we help them to, We also invite other stakeholders to come in and share with them. Right.
Okay, so you have been engaging with a wide cross section of the community, from the youth all the way up business and everybody. Inspector
Definitely.
Richie Bernard, what about Manchester?
Well, Manchester is doing great. We partner with churches, neighborhood watch groups, citizens association, youth clubs, community meetings, and currently we have a team, T20 team, for cricket, and we will be playing this Sunday in alongside Providence in French Park. The latest project we had was the 5K run walk. We collaborated with the Mandeville Police Youth Club. We currently have online Mr. Craig Hudson, who is the president of the youth club, who can speak more to that project. So we are going in and we are doing a lot of things with the community. We have our community walks, we do our meetings, our widely publicized meetings, and we meet also with our stakeholders. So everybody is on board, and we are getting the we're getting the approach. Everybody love what we are doing, and we are getting the support also.
Fantastic. All right, so Sergeant Chambers, anything different from the other divisions that's happening in Clarendon where community engagement is concerned?
At the forefront of how we go about our operations as law enforcement practitioners. However, more recently, we have tried to foster closer relationships along with state agencies such as the CPFSA, that's the SDC, Restorative Justice, the Child Diversion Officer. So we try to forge closer partnership and also to establish new partnership. One of our new partners have been the Project Star, and we have done a number of work in troubled communities such as Shredlight, Havana Heights, and Racetrack, to name a few. Those are the star communities. We also work with school groups to forge positive relationships. So we have done extensive work in that regard, and we should be hearing some more as it relates to our school engagement from our guidance council at the very technical high school. Recently, seen in the media, um, in a bad way, but there are a number of positives that we have happening with the very technical high school. Recently, we had a sports day, Area 3 Sports Day, and we had three participants from the very technical high school, and they won prizes all. So we have a good partnership, not only in negative in a negative light, but we also have a lot of positive coming out of your technical, and that will be highlighted.
All right. All right. Before we go into the spotlights, because we're going to be spotlighting those groups that were mentioned. So let's hear from Constable Dwyer. Go ahead and share in terms of the collaborations you were sharing just now. And then we'll move right into the spotlight so we can allow these groups to shine. Because what I'm hearing is that what has been happening differently is that the police is now more engaged with community at all levels. And so that's really awesome. Go ahead, Constable Dwyer.
Right. So tonight, with me here from St. Elizabeth is Mr. Tibi. He is the president for the Silo PYC, and Silo has been doing a marvelous job. They have weathered the COVID storm, and they're active, and I'm sure he will share with us the various projects that they are partaking in. Just recently, they handed over a television set to the Silo Primary School. So he will tell you more on what they are doing there at Silo.
Fantastic. I love that you're allowing them to shine, because we have to highlight them, And I must indicate before we even start the spotlight, the reason for doing this is to help those clubs that are struggling to get some insight, some ideas as to some of the strategies that these different groups are using that may be beneficial in your space. All right. So, officers, don't go anywhere. We are just going to allow your people to shine, and then we will bring you right back on. So let's get started. We are going to get started with their technical high school. Let's bring her on in a little bit, and that's our guidance counselor, Venetia Williamson Carty. Welcome, Mrs. Carty.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Witter. It's nice to be here.
Awesome. I was sharing with Mrs. Carty that last week, or the festival queen for Clarendon was featured here, and she mentioned so proud and bold that she's a past student of Veer Technical and how the school supported her initiative as the reigning queen for Clarendon. So kudos to Veer Technical on that. And we are going to be highlighting another awesome thing about Veer Technical, your SWIFT program in collaboration with our local police. What exactly is SWIFT and why SWIFT?
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. Good evening, viewers. So the SWIFT program is Students Working Intentionally for Timeliness Transformation. This initiative was launched to improve the punctuality among the grade 9 cohort of students. And so what we did was that we used the Form Teachers Register as the main data gathering tool, where students who were late 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, or 3 out of 5 days for the week over a 4-week period. So those students were selected. They were given a survey as to ascertain why it is that they are late for school. And then from that, a number of initiatives were undertaken. We had empowerment sessions for those students looking at effective time management, providing them with the necessary tips that they could use to ensure that they're early for school. They were rewarded for their efforts. Also, we had a major dramatization at the school where the students were able to see their peers demonstrating their normal routine. So they were able to identify things that they could do the night before just to ensure that they're early. Another major thing that we did was to partner with the CSSB, Community Safety and Security Arm of the JCF, MAPEN. We partnered with the Transport Authority. Of course, our teachers or administrators were on board for this initiative. And what we did really was to visit their bus park and to encourage the students to be prompt in taking the transportation as they got into the town's center so that they would be early for school.
All right, amazing. And how did that work out? What was the outcome of that initiative? Is it still ongoing, by the way?
All right, so the initiative is on a pause at the moment because we're nearing the end of the academic school year, right? And so that is on a pause, but I'm sure definitely September we will resume and continue. Now, at the beginning, the aim was to see an improvement of 5% in the punctuality of those students. And we were looking at a 12-week period. And believe it or not, at the end of those 12 weeks, we saw almost 10% improvement in the punctuality of grade 9 students. And so that was an amazing accomplishment I mean, the students and teachers gave testimonials of the intervention. They really appreciated it. And even some of the students shared some of the things that they would be doing differently to ensure that they were early for school.
Fantastic. And as you mentioned that, I remember last year, I think it was, when we had our student council leaders from different institutions in the parish, that was something that came up from the live audience about the challenges with punctuality. And I see them, a number of us have seen the students after school has started out there in this space. And so we're glad for that initiative and looking forward to other schools working with you to improve on it, to implement it more on a wider scale. Collaborations are not always easiest to establish. How was it in terms of establishing collaboration with your police to get things going for the SWIFT program?
It was very smooth. It was easy. The officers were so willing to be a part of the program, and so too were the Transport Authority personnel in Swansea, Clarendon. I mean, they came on board. Over those 12 weeks, we were at the bus park maybe 5 times. And I mean, they came out and they supported us. I remember one morning, I think it was a Thursday morning, when we had left, the police officers were still behind, ensuring that the students were off to school in a safe way.
Awesome. And we have a question here. Let's Ava. Thank you, Ava. Though the initiative is on pause, will you still be monitoring the trend in the student punctuality for controlled and uncontrolled periods?
Most definitely. As I said before, the form teachers registers were used to gather the information. And so from time to time, teachers would have made note of those students who are tardy in their attendance, and then the parents would be contacted as it relates to that issue.
All right, amazing. Any other exceptional thing you need to leave with us as it relates to that program before we switch the spotlight to Manchester?
I want to say thanks to Young's Pharmacy and Markeries, because they really step up and they provided well-needed stationery items that were used as incentives for the students. And I would encourage other proprietors within the Maypen area and the ACE community to come on board and be a part of this program, as we encourage and motivate our students to become the best version of themselves.
Love that. All right. I love this, Ava. Looks like a case study worth publishing for other schools to model nationally. Mrs. Carty, you have something to do here, right? Because when we have good stuff, we don't keep it to ourselves, we share it. And as I mentioned that, thank you so much for tuning in. For those who came on after the opening, welcome. So thank you for joining wherever you're connecting from. Thanks to those who have already subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please help us to pass on this awesome information that we're sharing here. The idea is to help to inspire and empower others so that we can be better at what we do in our spaces. Mrs. Carty, don't go anywhere. We will meet you in a little while. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. And Mrs. Carty makes way for the president of the Manchester Police Youth Club Council, Craig Hudson. Welcome, Sir Hudson.
It's nice to be here tonight.
Awesome. All right. So we want to hear all about the 5K run and walk initiative that you had over there in Mandeville. What inspired the event?
Well, thanks for having me another time. 5K, it's a very exciting event for us in Mandeville, especially for the youth club, the Mandeville Police Youth Club, right? It's an initiative that started 7 years ago under the leadership of the former president, Ms. Sherwina Aiden. You know, it's just something that we want to give back to our community, to different entities around Manchester. So it started out with having this idea to donate something to the Mandeville Regional Hospital. And from that conception, we are here now, 7 years later, still doing strong, still doing a great job with this. So it's a wonderful event that Mandeville Police Youth Club has started and wish to continue with the help of partnership as we are here discussing.
Fantastic. And I'm glad you went there because the club could not have done it by themselves. So, how did the youth PYC manage to engage the different groups and volunteers? Because you need volunteers if you're doing fundraising activity, right? In terms of the planning and the whole process itself, the planning and organizing of the event. Or did you engage the different groups?
Well, it's hard on one side and wasn't so hard on the other because volunteers would have come from within the Mandeville Police Youth Club, which has a membership of over 40 other or so on members, young people from different communities around Mandeville, around Manchester, I should say, right? So the volunteers wasn't such a hard. Still
Go
there?
ahead. Go ahead. We lost it for a while. Go ahead. Go ahead. Are you hearing us?
Hello?
All right. Yes. Are you hearing me? All right. You might have to leave and re-enter. Something went wrong with your audio. All right. While we get that sorted out, we want to keep the communication going. Thank you, Lady Yulette. And thanks to Doc for letting us know that he will not be able to join us. All right. Are you back with us, Sir Hudson?
I am here, but I'm not hearing. So I don't know if you're hearing me.
We're hearing you. So go ahead and finish your thoughts.
All right. So you're hearing me. So
Yes.
I was saying is that volunteers are not so hard to get, but as it relates to where the financial side of this event is to be, take place, we would have reached out to different stakeholders, business persons around Manchester and around Jamaica also, right, along with the help of JCF in whatever way that they can assist us. And it has been a rough patch over the years, but we have built a relationship with our sponsors, or we should say stakeholders, who have helped us through the 7 years. Some of them would have been new sponsors and some would have been continual sponsors to help us to make this venture better so that we can keep on donating towards the cause.
All right. Amazing. All right. So for this year, the aim was to support the psychiatric ward at the Mandeville Hospital. Is this the first time? Or you're still not hearing? All right, we're going to have to come right back to you. All right. I hope we're able to get that sorted out because we want to hear more from Mandeville. All right. All right. We're going to have to hear some more from you later. Hopefully we can get that challenge sorted out. Welcome to all the St. Elizabeth Area 3 people who are joining us. All right, so let's move over to St. Elizabeth. We have with us from St. Elizabeth, Tyler Tibby, the president of the Silo Police Youth Club. Let me make sure I get it right. All right, unmute Tyler. Welcome.
Hi, good night. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. So we are looking at youth engagement in St. Elizabeth because I understand that the Silo Police Youth Club have been turning it up down there in St. Elizabeth in terms of the number of activities, the engagements that you've been having in this space. So Tyler, tell us in terms of how is it that the PYC they're engaged with youth and what initiatives are currently ongoing at Silo?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me again. As previously mentioned, I am Tyler Tibby, president of the Silo Police Youth Club. What we've done so far in the 3 years that we've been active is we've been flexible. Flexible in the sense that we can are well aware that this generation is totally different from what was, right? So what we had to do now was go back to the drawing board and understand how do we reach these youths. We reach these youths by engagement. Engagement can be difficult because how do you satisfy one area without totally diminishing one area, right? So what we've done is we meet every Sunday, and every Sunday is something new, something exciting. So we have skills night where they're able to learn culinary skills, electricity, mechanics, constructions. It totally varies. We have talent shows. We have plays. We put on plays that highlight certain issues in our community, like poverty, mental health, abuse, infidelity, just so that we can engage our youths.
All right. So you keep it youth focused. I love that in terms of the variety, because you have to have different things for different personalities.
Exactly.
Right. So those initiatives, do you see those contributing to the long-term community safety and youth development?
Right. So another thing that I'm grateful for that my club has been able to do was establish a sense of community. I mean, yes, there's a legal term of what a community is. However, working together is also a community. Building each other is also being community, right? So what we've done is we've meet and we've met with the individual needs of each youth in a community. We've garnered games night, which allows them to interact and socialize with each other, with the hopes that once they've done this, once they've seen that, you know what, this person is just like me, they're able to say, you know what, I'm going to keep this person safe. So that is where we're able to come in now and be like, look, we're all in the same position. How can we move forward to build our community? And once we build our community, how can we build the world? And I believe that a strong sense of community can do wonders. And that's what we have been focusing on so far.
Fantastic. And with all of that you just shared, I'm sure that you would have learned quite a bit from your work with the youth in this space. So share with us a couple of the lessons that you have learned there and how other PYCs can replicate the successes that you're seeing in this space in terms of keeping the youth together and your club actively engaged.
Lessons. The biggest lesson is that everything and everyone has a purpose. You see, so many times we try to focus on the bigger picture when we lack vision of the smaller things, right? What we realize that every individual has a talent. Every individual has something to bring forward, right? So that is the biggest lesson we've learned. To how do we come to the sense where we are able to highlight everyone, right? How can we highlight the necessary needs of each youth? That is the biggest lesson. Another lesson we have learned is that things take time. That is definitely to slow down, live in the moment, and just do your best. That is two biggest lessons that I've learned so far. And this is how I'm sure each club can garner knowledge from. Also, one other knowledge I would like to pass on to each club who are trying is that be flexible. Understand your youth and who you're trying to cater to. Because at the end of the day, as I said before, everyone is different, everyone has different needs. So how does your youth in your community, what do they like? How can you engage them? How can you be flexible in the sense that we're able to say, you know what, we can meet this time and each person can come and they can share their input and create a community. Because that is what we're here to do.
Amazing. I love that. And I trust that the clubs that are on are taking notes. I know that we have some youth leaders that are connected. So I trust you're taking notes. All right. Thank you so much. So Tibi, don't go anywhere. We need to hear more from you. All right. Before you leave the screen, I love to shower the flowers. Commendations, Mr. Tibi. Folks, this young man is a prime candidate for the Prime Minister's Youth Award. All right. We're putting it out there. So if no one has nominated Mr. Tibi as yet, all right, let's make that happen. Team St. Elizabeth, what do you say? All right. All right. Thank you, so Tibi. Stay put. All right. Let's see if we can hear some more from Sir Hudson. Are you back with us? You're muted. Are you hearing me? And no, we're not hearing you. You're unmuted, but we're not hearing you. So you're going to have to try that connection again because we want to hear the rest of what you have to share. All right. So we hope to get him back on in a little while. But while we are waiting on that to be sorted out, yes, indeed, Sergeant McLeod, the great idea shared. And I'm sure others can benefit from it. And we have a public service announcement here to continue the partnership. But you can do that by supporting the Clarendon Police, who will be hosting a Mother's Day play on Sunday at 7 p.m. at the Denby Showground. Tickets are still available. So folks you can make it a trip over from St. Elizabeth and Manchester to come over and support the Clarendon Division. Good job indeed. Right. Let's see. Let's try this again.
Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you now.
Fantastic. Because
All
we want to hear about the support in terms of the impact at the psychiatric ward at the Mandeville Hospital.
Yes.
Is it the first time that you're supporting that specific area of the hospital?
All right. So yes, it's the first time that we would have supported that side of the hospital. We would have done the pediatric ward already over the years, right? So we decided to go to the hospital. We would have done probably the health center also, right? And the hospital in Spalding also. So numerous persons that we would have give donation to, and over the years and this year. So we see where the psychiatric ward, after visiting that ward, we see where they're in need of something like some mini draws, so where persons can put their clothes and so on. And we decide that we want to, give what we can. We probably as not big like a surgical, run walk, but we are trying to do our best in our little corner. But as it relates to, I hear commendation to Mr. Tiddy from in St. Elizabeth. And we too in Manchester, not just here talking about Mandeville only, but the wider club in Manchester. We have, about 4 active clubs in Manchester that are doing great. And I want to say that they too would have impacted their community. We're talking about Porus, Alligator Pond, Christiana, and yours truly, Mandeville. And they have been doing a tremendous job in their area, right? So
that's right. I was expecting you to big up your clubs. Otherwise, you would have problems.
and not even so much, the community clubs, but I want to just go a little further and highlighted some of the school clubs, because that's that little step further that we are doing in Manchester, where we have a lot of school clubs, that would have been formed, because what we want is that forming the school clubs, whenever they are participating in their school clubs, if we can get these young people in the school, then whenever they do leave the school clubs, then they can come over, graduated, and come over to the community club, where they can impact a little bit more on a broader base. So we're talking about clubs like Bishop Gibson, Alphonsus Davis up there in Spalding. We're talking about Christiana High School that recently launched their club. They are the new club on the block. We're talking about Mayday High School, and the baby club of all is Robbins Hall. And we are doing great here in Manchester. I wish to launch some more clubs with the help of partnership from communities and different stakeholders.
Amazing. I love that. The succession planning is very important. All right. And the flowers are coming out. Congrats, Mr. Hudson. Keep making a positive impact in Manchester. Yeah, we keep the commendations going. And let's bring back on Lady Carty, because flowers are serving up here. All right. Lady Yulesh, congratulating you on your hard work. All right. So let's get you all on, because we are going to be going around. Sir Tibi and Constable, bring on your camera so we can get you on stage. All right, so we are switching gears a bit here, and we are going to be looking a little more closer at the collaborations and more so to provide some advice. So we're going to start with providing some advice to other police divisions or community groups looking to start similar collaborations. So I am going to go with Sergeant Chambers. Let's get you in on this one. I'm getting a feedback from one of the microphones. All right, Sergeant Chambers.
All right, so we're excited to know that other groups would like to emulate what is being done in our division. However, what I'd like to impress on you is to just look at your particular environment to see the challenges that you face and take what is fitting from our division to implement in your division or your space, because what might work for one area, one school, might not necessarily be fitting for your space. So while you can take the concept in it, the concept of how we operate or how we go about doing the implementing the initiative, you can add your little tweak to it so that it is relevant to your space.
All right. Anyone else have anything to add to that? Let's go to Sir Hudson. Anything to add to that in terms of advice? Other groups looking to do collaboration more so with the police.
Yes, most definitely. But collaboration with the police is something that I strongly agree with. You know, different youth groups around Manchester, even the other parishes. You know, um, it is a good way of bridging that gap between young people and JCF. You know, because there's a stigma going around when it comes down to police, and nobody spread a better positive words like young people. Get the word out there. And like I always tell the members in Manchester that one young man or one young woman who is a part of police youth club or is partnering with JCF is one less gun on the road or one less person being a criminal. So it is good to be a part of Jamaica Constabulary Force and working together to make this, as our motto is, make Jamaica helping to build a better Jamaica. Yes.
Indeed. From the school's perspective, Lady Carty.
Collaborating with the officers is a very good initiative. At first, it might be difficult, but remain persistent. Sell the vision that you have. Run with that torch, and also reach out to persons who would have probably undertaken that same initiative and get those ideas, and then use them to suit your own situation or your setting.
All right. So what we're hearing from you and Sergeant Chambers is that it's not a one size fits all. And Sir Tibi would have mentioned it earlier. You have to know the people that you are working with, and then you actually carve out your program, your strategies accordingly. So, all right. I hope we're getting the tips. All right, Inspector Lee, thank you for tuning in. All right, Inspector Lee, K Division DIU, and we have Lady Williams up here from CSSBK. I'm still trying to figure out those K and so on. Is that St. Elizabeth? CSSBK, which of them is it?
Yes, madam.
St.
It
Elizabeth.
is St. Elizabeth.
All right, so I am learning. All right, so how can community members, I love to ask this one, community members that includes our parents or educators, local business owners, contribute to these collaborative safety and security initiatives? Inspector Richie Bernard.
Right. You can encourage your parents to be part of parents-teachers meeting, as well as encourage educators to have an open door policy to the police. Encourage stakeholders to form business groups, and parents need to be more, citizens need to be more closer to the police. You can't be in your community and you do not know who is the police officer, you do not know who is the JP, because everybody can benefit from being partners. So when you know the JP, you can get your recommendation. When you know the police officer, you can also get a recommendation. You can get your job letter. So when you partner with each other, it builds trust, it builds confidence, and then we will have a better community with the police.
Well said. And Kerry Wallace says you're correct. Inspector Wallace, that is. And Siobhan Reed, welcome, Siobhan. Is loving this. All right. Anything else to add to that, Constable Dwyer?
All right. It is very important to collaborate with the various stakeholders. We are focusing on our PYCs, and what we do is that as members, when we visit PYCs, we don't go and really take over their meetings and stuff like that. We just go, and like if they're having an event, we participate just as a normal club member and stuff like that. We don't really go, and because we are the police, we are in charge and we take over. We give them the opportunity to do their thing and just guide them. And it works for both them and for us.
Fantastic. All right. Let's see. Sir Chambers, do you have anything to add to that? Go ahead.
Definitely. A number of times we have initiatives going on and activities, fundraisers, stuff like that. I'm urging persons to support these initiatives. As it is now, I see where Inspector Mela Wallace highlighted one such initiative. So if it is that you're looking for something to do for this Mother's Day, you should go out and support our play, which will be held at the Denby Showground in Clarendon. It's the Watchman, and it offers a very exciting entertainment opportunity for mothers on that particular day. So support. That's what we're asking for.
Fantastic. Because it's not just the stakeholders giving support and giving back to the police, but the police have also been giving back to institutions within this space. And I love to see that. That is very important, that it's a community. So it's one hand washing the other and not somebody one side expecting all the time. So Tibby Hudson, anything else to add on that point in terms of the community support? So Hudson, go ahead. I see you opening.
All right. You know, there are some persons on the panel couldn't have said it better. As it relates to Police Youth Club, we are waiting on parents, citizens in the community, send out the young people to be a part of Police Youth Club. Over the years, we know that persons shy away from being a part of the Police Youth Club based on the aspect that they name police. But let me tell you, being a part of Police Youth Club is a great thing. The collaboration with JCF is a good thing. How many persons, young persons, wouldn't love to drive in one police vehicle? Get that feeling of being a part. That stigma that has been shared around Jamaica about police this and police that, you get to find out that when you're a part of the movement, that you get to meet persons that will help you, motivate you and guide you into a right path. And you get to meet persons in the wider community who also will help you, and persons that can take you places. So it's a good collaboration between Police Youth Club, JCF, and the whole entire community that surrounds you once you're in the right area.
Well said, Sir Tibi.
Yes, I just want to echo what everyone has said is collaborative effort from the police is important. What my club has done is we've integrated our police officers in many areas. So in terms of meetings, they are here holding meetings, they are participating in cleanups, they are with us when we are doing marches. Whatever situation we are in, we want a police here to say, you know what, they are here. Because as you said, there's a stigma there. At the end of the day, persons have the view that nothing good comes with police officers. And that was what we struggled with in the beginning, definitely. Persons refuse to come out because they must say, a snitch, you're a snitch, right? But what we tried to do was take away from the fact that yes, it is affiliated with the JCF, but it is for the community. So parents, what I'm grateful for is that parents and community members have been involved a lot because we need them to. So we've been broadcasting, we've been begging, and they have been showing up. They have been showing up to our cleanups. They are there at every meeting. They are there at every initiative. We even had a football league last year, and their parents were there, involved, engaged. Police officers were there also. So and through this whole situation with the police youth club, we've met multiple persons who are able and willing to help. We've made partnership with MPs. We've done partnership with Ministry of Health, teachers, police officers, even the JDF is now involved. So I'm saying these are things that we need to do and we are working with. So I'm hoping for a very bright future.
And I love that. I love that. It's a sign of hope, and hope is good. All right. Well done, Inspector Richie Bernard and Mr. Craig Hudson. Let's continue the partnership in Manchester. This is from Michael. All right, fantastic. All right, and I must emphasize a point that Inspector Richie Bernard shared earlier in terms of the importance of especially the youth engaging in the community, because that is how your JPs, the police, gets to know you. So when it's time for your passport or other official documents to be signed, you don't say, boy, no JP not signing it, because the JP can't sign if they don't know you. And the only way for you to be known is if you are actively engaged in your community. That's how you're going to be known, right? For the right things, the right reasons, right? So it's very important that you participate, and not just the young people, but the older folks as well, because there are a lot of adults who you don't really know them. You move into a new area and you're in your little small corner until you need something to be done where you need to engage with one of the established institutions, and then you need a recommendation or some documents to be verified. What do? You have to be a part of the community that you're in. All right. And that is why we do this. All right, Ava sharing that she had the play that the Clarendon division is putting on, and it's really engaging and humorous, but very serious themes from great Jamaican actors. And the venue is better. Yes, a lot of space down there at Denby that's been utilized. Inspector Wallace is sharing that she would do Police Youth Club all over again because it gives you exposure and helps you to develop in many ways. And she's a proud product of the PYC, and she's not just a member of the police force, but she's inspector in the police force. Right. Let's get some more comments here. Nikisha is saying, Tibi, I hope you will become one of us. It will be good to have you in our organization. Let's see. We never know what will happen. All right. So Tibi, I hope you're able to join us soon. Seems to be having some connection challenges. These partnerships, as Mr. Tibi said, gives great exposure. So many of us can better get involved in certain fields or areas we want to be in one day, or the experience we need. Fantastic. Right, because through your clubs, you can volunteer for different initiatives, and you never know what doors will open along that line. All right. So as we are winding down, a lot has been shared. It's like a masterclass that we have here each Thursday. All right, let's get some feedback. Samantha is saying that what she'd really like for the PYC is the direct connection for youths to be recommended and can go directly into the police force, given that they are qualified. Inspector Richie Bernard.
Yes, madam.
Right. Samantha is saying that what she would really like to see is for the youth to be recommended and go directly into the police force, given that they are qualified, of course. So if they're part of the police youth club, what's the usual process? Is it the same? They go and do the test?
Yes, they go and do the test. They're recommended, and they go and do the test, and they do the regular procedures just like any other persons.
Right. But the difference is because they're a member of the police youth club, then the officers would be in a position
Yes,
to recommend
to
them.
recommend them, right? Because you have one-on-one with them, so you already know them, so you can always give them a recommendation.
All right. So I hope that that clears it up for you, Samantha. So
Yes,
the fact that they are
does
in the
different.
PYC, it creates that avenue for them
Yes.
to be recommended. So they don't have to go searching to get recommendation
Right.
because the officers would already know. And Lady Williams is confirming that is the case. All right, fantastic. So we're getting your questions answered here in the space. So as we round out this month's live forum here, we want to hear your final thoughts, message that you'd want to leave with the audience about the importance of community-driven safety and security initiatives, because everything can't come from the police. It's a collaboration. So the youth clubs, the schools, different groups, the justices of the peace, all these entities. So let us hear from you the message that you'd like to leave with the audience about the importance of that kind of community-led initiative. All right, and we are going to be starting with Sir Hudson.
All right, thank you one more time. All right, so community relations, PYC, and the impact that it has in the community. Very vital to today's society. I mean, what is going on in society is sometimes scares you with the direction that our young people are heading in, and we want them to go into something that is effective and will help them to develop a good character. PYC is that place for them. That is the area for them. So I implore mothers, fathers in the era of Christiana, Porus, Alligator Pond, Mandeville, in around Era 3 and the whole entire Jamaica, because we have Police Youth Club all over. Tell your child to be a part of Police Youth Club. Bring your child to be a part of Police Youth Club. You yourself can be a part of Police Youth Club. It is a great initiative. Partnership with the police, we can do great things to, shape a different future for our generation today. Because it's a sad story when you look on media and see what has been happening in our schools and in our communities with our young people. And I am telling you, when I heard the question about Police Youth Club members joining the force in Mandeville, we have numerous persons who have gone through Mandeville Police Youth Club and are now members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And I'm saying to young people out there who are listening on this platform, Police Youth Club is a great organization for you to be a part of so that you can help to build a better Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's go to Sir Tibi.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. Could you please repeat?
All right, the importance of community-driven safety and security initiatives.
Right.
Your final thoughts on that.
All right. So collaboration is definitely key. And the idea we need to bridge the gap between the police and the civilians. They need to be able to understand that, listen, there are ways and numbers of like, how do we deter from violence? And a great way to do that is through the police youth club. by giving them an opportunity to socialize with the police. As it is important to give them a voice as well. That's where when we have presentations, that's where the police officers come in. And that is where they're able to voice these questions and like, how can I but give value to this world, but also being safe. And I believe that we've done that by having patrols and we've, as you said, partner with the police officers and they've been to homes and they've been to different centers, they've been to different schools and they're being seen and they are being heard now and the community members are hearing them. So I believe that we have definitely have hope for the future through collaboration.
Fantastic. And then Lady Carty, let's hear from you regarding your schools and other organizations in general.
Thank you so much. I will say, let us reignite that zeal as it relates to the safety and security of our children through the collaborative efforts of parents. I would encourage them to become more involved in the lives of their children, know where they are, be involved in the school, in the PTAs, attend the parent consultation sessions. To the business owners, I would say get involved, come on board with the schools within your different areas, mentor those students who are in need of mentorship, offer your time and the resources that are available to you so that this partnership can see transformation in the lives of our students.
Well said. All right, officers, we're starting in the south and coming over to Clarendon. So let's take this home. What do you have to share with your division at this time? Constable Dwyer. Final thoughts.
Right. I would encourage everyone to get involved in the various community activities, whether through the PYCs or the neighborhood watches, the walkthroughs, the community meetings. That in that way they'll get to voice their opinions or any concerns they have, and they will get to engage with their local police, get to meet their local police, and build a better community overall.
And that's the objective, building better communities. Go ahead, Inspector Richard Bernard.
You know, in Jamaica, they say one hand cannot clap, and we depend heavily on the citizen. And we have to remember, we are the textbooks that our children read, and we are to live in a way that our children can emulate us. And with that, we will have a more improved society. So we just have to remember, with the citizen, we need the citizen on board because we alone can't do the policing. We need the help of the citizen.
Well said. All right, Sergeant Chambers, take it home.
All right. So the safety, security, and the holistic development of each community is the responsibility of all of us. So with that said, we need to collaborate, to organize for advocacy, and to be aware of what is happening around us. And I charge all of us listening on the platform to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so what an hour. All right, and Inspector Miller Wallace is waiting on you. JCF is waiting on you, Sir Tibby. You can be an asset. And so say all of us. Thank you so much, Inspector. Thank you so much. All right, so we are empowering communities. That's what it is. We're empowering communities by empowering individuals, but the only way that can happen is if you make yourselves available, because the different groups are there, the organizations are there. You just have to take advantage of it. Maybe you didn't know about these different awesome initiatives that the police youth clubs and even through the schools that you can actually get involved in to support safety and security in your space. Well, now you know. For those who are here, now you know. And the fact that you now know, the onus is on you to make sure that those in your circle are also aware of these awesome initiatives that are available and how they can get involved. And by getting involved, that is how they're able to shine like Sir Tibby and Sir Hudson, right, in terms of sharing. Because I'm sure Sir Tibby might not have been so eloquent in days gone by. Were you always eloquent, Sir Tibby, or were you considered shy at some point?
I mean, when you grab the family I have, you can't shy away from the spotlight. But I definitely, Prince Yukov has given me the space to shine, and that's what I'm forever grateful for. I'm able to lead and shine. I've been the head boy, I've been prefects all around, but yet still being president of a police youth club. I mean, engaging youths constantly, you have to be quick and you have to be aggressive in getting your points out and in a respectful and intellectual manner. So thank you.
All right. Fantastic. Yes. Yes. And this was very intentional in terms of getting the highlighting on screen the collaborations that's taking place, because yes, we come each month and we talk about it from the police perspective, but we wanted to hear from you who are in these different organizations, and not just the police youth club, but we had Beer Technical High School sharing how an initiative that was supposed to be an assignment, Lady Carty, right, that actually morphed into something that was an initiative that the police could have gotten involved in. Go ahead, Lady Carty, and share what you had on your mind.
Oh, I was just agreeing with you.
Yes.
Really, assignments. Yes.
That's right. So you see, there are so many different opportunities where we can actually engage and make the spaces that we're in safer. So on that note, let me thank you all for sharing your very engaging and insightful thoughts and the initiatives that you're employing in your different spaces, the strategies that you're using in your different youth clubs and the schools. Right. So we had Lady Venetia Williamson Carty, the guidance counselor of their technical high school; Craig Hudson, president of the Manchester Police Youth Club Council; Tyler Tibby, president of the Silo Police Youth Club; and the officers from the South. We had Constable Dakota Dwyer, who is the supervisor for the police youth clubs over there in St. Elizabeth Division, and in Manchester, Inspector Suzette Ritchie Bernard, who is the acting territorial officer, Manchester Police Division, and on screen, Sergeant Leroy Chambers, sub-officer in charge of CSSB in Clarendon. Let me thank you all so much. For those of you who were able to join us live, and for those who are watching the replay, thank you so much for listening, and not just listening, but taking notes and sharing. The link is there. We have a host of information that's available, organized in playlists to make it easier for you in terms of the different areas that you want to share with others, so that they can be more informed, and more informed citizens are more empowered citizens. All right. And once they're empowered, then we can create safer spaces, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. All right. Look out for the blog on www.serenityresourceconnected.com, coming to you live on Monday, God's willing, with the highlights from this discussion. Thank you so much again. Have a fantastic rest of the evening. And thank you all for participating and making this so engaging. You make my job so exciting.
Welcome, madam.
All right, fantastic. Have a great night.
You too.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.